So I told you before we started, I called her to tell her I was coming in. Figured our father would tend to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And before we cut the phone, I said, the one question I'm going to ask you, because I'm probably going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Would you agree with me in saying that you stayed together longer than we should have?
Oh, wow.
100%.
Wow.
100%. We did.
Okay.
He did. And the sole reason that we did was my son.
Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of Figuring Out Fatherhood. My name is Chris Topper, I'm your host, and today I'm here with Michael. Michael is a football coach and he works at CFO as well. Michael, please tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us about your son, how old he is, how old you are, and just about what you do in general, to be honest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
My son's 7 years old, will be 8 really soon. So I've been at that 7 years. And my experience is unique, but everyone's is.
Of course.
Before I get into that, I want to first thank you for this platform.
Oh, bro.
The point of time where this is what I was looking for.
Really?
I couldn't find anything.
Okay.
And I'm struggling, searching everywhere, typing little things into Google, and no one said, hey, there's people here doing this.
Yeah.
That, and people need this.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. But there's a reason why we're there, man. We're a community, and I feel like, especially as men, we need to hear each other's stories, right? Because like I was saying to someone earlier on today, like, you may think you're going through it. Everyone's experience need to learn it. Until you have someone going from what, and it's like, you know what? I can make better choices to help me navigate what I'm going through, so it doesn't need to what that person is going through. Does that make sense? So that's one of the reasons why I think it's important I keep speaking. Well, yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it. Yeah, we want to start from the very beginning. When you and your son's mum met.
Okay.
How you met, the lead up, how she got pregnant.
Cool.
Let's go. It's literally a journey you're going to take us through.
So when we met, I was about 20 or 21 years old. I just come back from uni in the summer, and I went to see a friend, and she was working with our friend at the time, and we saw each other. But my head was in a different space. Uni was doing a madness. I was all over the place. So I wasn't in a place where I wanted to speak or get to know anyone, just end here. And I left without speaking to him, but my friend hooked us up.
Nice.
And then a few months later, we properly began talking and dating. And then from there, it was all Sherrod. We got together really quickly. And to start a really good relationship.
I know.
Pregnant within the first 8 months of us being professionally together.
Yeah.
So a large chunk of our relationship was as parents to my son. But as when I met her, she already had a child.
Okay. Oh, let's no.
We'll go back.
Let's not fast forward past that. She had a child already, right? How old was her child at that point of time?
When I met her, he would have been 3 or 4.
Okay.
He was 3 or 4, and today, as I think about it, there's a conversation I should have had with myself that I didn't have with myself back then, which was understanding what it means if you're going to be with someone as a child. Because whether they say it or not, whether it's vocalized or not, then there is a guardianship type role that comes with you being with someone. Whether they want to say it or not, whether it's spoken about or not, that's the truth. And I didn't have that conversation with myself. I would say there was a type of conversation that me and her had, but at that point in my life, I saw it more as her making sure I understood that they were a pair. They came together. I can't just deal with her and look with me. I wasn't ready. I was 21. Yeah, I wasn't ready to be a father. I wasn't ready to be to have something in life and looking after them. I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
So in my own way, I rejected it.
Okay.
And I wasn't as well. I'm a strong believer that the parent, the adult in the relationship, has to nurture that relationship with the child.
Yeah, frankly.
So you set the tone, and they're coming with you. I wasn't setting the tone
for her son.
Yeah, I was just on something like that. We had a good relationship, but I wasn't like, let's go out here, let's go out here to you. Yeah. Like guy time sort of thing that happened. And then my son came.
Yeah.
And when my son came, instantly from that moment that he came, I felt like, wow, this is love, this is mad. But what that also showed me is that I couldn't have this thing.
Yeah. And
that was kind of, I can accept it now, but it meant that we went further apart first before we got closer. And again, that's all of me. That's all of me. I just wasn't ready. I just was ready for. I looked at it as a child that's the mind. Whereas if you're going to be with someone with a child, to a certain extent, that becomes a child. Not even to accept that becomes a child.
Yeah.
That becomes a child. You have to accept that or leave that situation completely.
I agree.
And I didn't do it. I didn't do that.
Well, it's like you're right. You mentioned you were younger, so it's easy to look back at hindsight and be like, but at the time you were young. So I guess it's our responsibility now to make sure that people are aware of this.
And I say, another is
that
any guy that I've talked to who says, look, I've met a woman, but she's the child, I yet understand this is what's going to happen. Whether you want to, whether you believe it or not, if you're going to be with her, this is what you're looking to take from her. Whether the dad's one the scene or not, you need to be prepared. You have to be prepared.
So just to clarify though, because obviously you said you were 21.
21, yeah.
21, okay. If you're really asking, how come it didn't tell you back then? Because it tells people even now.
Yes.
But it didn't tell you back then.
I liked her a lot. She was a bit of me, as people say. There's a bit of me, so it made I had like, what they call it, what horses have? The blinkers, the blockers.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that.
Tunnel vision, just straight up.
That's it. So there was no, I don't even think it. I hesitated for a second.
Oh, wow.
I hesitated for a second. But that was like a 2-year block, what I'm talking about, that period, but went about 2 years. And then I embraced that role and from when I embraced it, that was good. That was good.
Cool. So just flipping it back to that, to her. So you guys met, Sam, you didn't really take to it initially.
Yeah.
And when you guys carried on with your relationship, and did she ever mention to you that, hey, I'd like you to be a bit more, or was it just a thing of like you realized?
It was a conversation that happened often, that maybe she can see something from Instagram about, one thing that comes to mind is like a picture of a hand holding a baby, and I think the words underneath it said something like, it's not the biological parent that raises the child, it's the people.
Yes, the
adults are with it. It doesn't mean that the sperm donor doesn't make you a dad.
Yeah.
Your dad is the man that is taking care of them.
Yeah, facts.
And little things like that. So it wasn't really pushed upon me, but it was a conversation that he had.
Amazing.
It was a conversation, and yeah.
Okay, cool. Now let's talk about the pregnancy, right? So at the point when you're dating, they actually told you, hey, Michael, I'm pregnant. Was this like was it planned? Or was it like,
no.
You use a condom and she didn't take the pill? What was
reckless.
Very
reckless.
Very
reckless, I'd say. And I remember it like it was yesterday when she messaged me that she was late, and then the conversation happened.
What, just did back?
And I remember I sat on my toilet seat and I called my best friend because he already had a child.
Okay.
And he was that. But I remember they said, you're going to be good, bro.
Yeah.
You're going to be good. So me and her had a few conversations about the options and stuff. And that went on for about 2 weeks. And it got to a point where it's just that there's only one option.
Really?
No other option. There's one option. And that was it. So once I got my head around he was coming, my son was coming, and it became a case of trying to have conversation with people. So her Karen, I told my best friend and my sister, my older sister, I told those the 2 people that I knew before anyone else. Of course, they were the 2 people I was closest with. Now I had a strange relationship with my parents, it was tense. So I didn't really want to tell them, but I also didn't want to tell her parents because I had developed a bonding there, and that home that was not as well.
Oh, with her parents?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
I didn't want it to be like, right, listen, because they're in the church.
Okay.
They're deep in the church.
Yeah.
So this was like disappointment.
Yeah.
And we told her parents first. Madness.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. That was mad.
Is it something you can share or like a...
there
You never
was
like say so?
disappointment. There was
Okay.
heavy disappointment. I
As in
felt it.
expressed.
Yeah. And then I told my mum. I felt like that my dad was a nice person to find out. I told my mum, and I wasn't really. I think I was more shook with my dad at that time.
How old were you at the time for me asking?
22.
Okay.
I had my son at 22.
Okay.
I had my son when I was 22. So in between 21 and 22.
Yeah.
So my mum, she told me. She gave me motherly chat that, so this is what you're going to be doing, that kind of thing. Cool, right? You ready for this? That kind of chat. And then we told the pastor. And from that, we had to stand up in front of her.
But you went to the same church?
I ended up going there because that's what she was, yeah.
Sorry. Take a step back. Did you just say you had to stand up in front of the church?
Yeah. Because he gave us up. She said, but people are going to watch her belly grow and come to their old and grieve it.
Yeah.
Well, you think it in front of it. And I already knew back then, this is not about me, what I wanted.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? I went to have a chat. Alright, cool. So I stood up, I said, another madness in itself. And again, expressed disappointment. So, but yet, I just worried. It was what it was.
Throughout that process though, how are you feeling inside? Did you get up into the excited about having a child, or were you just, wow?
No, I think me and her quietly were excited from maybe about the 6 month point on. But I never sat down with myself and said, no, how you feeling?
Yeah.
What does this mean for you? What do you want out of this now? What does your life look like? I didn't do that. There was no self-reflection environment. And this is a common theme between...
And that's I was just going to say...
On the whole, bro, this is a funny thing. How do you feel about this?
Do you know where it's principle? As men, we're geared towards just deal with it, just get on with it. And we never really take a moment to think about the consequences and tell them about mental health, how we actually fall aside. And that's something that I want to actively encourage, because it helps us to make smarter decisions when we're aware of how we're feeling. Okay, this is interesting actually. So you've got in front of it, quote unquote, cool. And this is 6 month mark, you said. So now you've got 3 months. So now everyone knows.
Everybody knows.
Between the 6 months and the 9 months later, like, just giving birth, what happened there?
It was a process of getting ready, so making sure things are bought, some sort of routine is spoken about, established, and once the disappointment had been dealt with on the parents' side, because at this it was still relatively early in our relationship. So then she met our parents and that, and was around some of my people, and there was a lot that had to be crammed in, but it didn't feel like it at the time. It just felt like it's coming. He's coming. So I should be wanting a daughter.
You want a daughter?
I was about to have a baby. I wanted a daughter.
Wow, why is that?
I think I wanted a daughter because I felt like it would help me relate better to women.
Okay. That does make sense.
I felt like having a little girl to look after, who looks up to me and you are part of her world, would then change how I maybe dealt and related to women in the world as well. And then I think I dealt with a bit of disappointment. We tried having a boy for a couple of days.
I can't lie to you, yeah. This is such a unique situation because obviously it's you the other way around.
Yes.
You see on social media, it's just like throwing tantrums and storming off. That's quite interesting.
And I remember I had girls named lined up for days.
Okay. Okay, cool. So now let's talk about the pregnancy, right? Were you present? Were you in the... Yeah. How was
when
it?
we were together.
Oh, so like,
it was at appointments, scans, all of them things. I think at that point in time I was working in Sainsbury's at the time. And I made sure I was cool around it. I made sure they were right. So whatever I needed I couldn't work around certain people.
Yeah.
Present. I wanted to be present.
Man.
I knew from about the 6 month mark, I knew what kind of dad I wanted to be. Man, I knew what kind of dad I wanted to be. Because I remember vividly up until I was about 14, me and my mum and my dad were together in the household. I'm one of 6 kids. He was present dad. But then as I became a teenager, we started to kind of butt heads a little more. And then there's younger kids that need a bit more attention, and then suddenly broke away. And I knew I wanted to be him plus more.
Okay.
I knew I wanted it.
Yeah.
So that's...
You made sure you did that.
Yeah. But then in doing that, I'm focusing on, in my mind, what he isn't.
Yeah.
And saying that's not what I'm going to do.
Okay.
This is what I want to do. This is what the cool character, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So now she's had a baby. Cool. Let's talk us through the first. So you guys were together up until...
My son was... Just before my son was 5.
So you guys for quite a significant amount of time. Like, so you guys did things together as a couple, a family. Talk us through that period and talk us through that and how that's changed since you guys broke up. So let's start from time with your son.
Yeah.
So when you're together, I assume you have a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
Were you guys living together or?
I was there always.
Okay.
Always. Like, I've been sitting by myself, used to have a running joke that I paid for a room in my house.
Yeah.
Because I was coming to sleep. More than people have seen me out again.
Back to it.
Work and then straight there. Fall straight there and then work. Wherever it was, that's where I was. And with my son.
It's amazing.
I wanted to be there. Got tired. And his mum and her mum helped me with understanding how to give a bath, how to change nappies. And she'd express, I'd feed, I'd do mad. Like I wanted to be present, I wanted to be around, I wanted to know what all of this was about. And so, Kyle, I did.
Okay, so I'm going to do this all like a Ben versus now thing. Yourself and Ben, when you guys broke up, how did you do the timeshare? How did you guys come to the end of the time?
I actually have to commend her because I do shift work. Mm-hmm. So sometimes my rest days, my days are scattered. And so one week I'd say I've got in. I always mention whenever I'm resting, I'm not working, I'm with my son.
Okay.
So it might be a Thursday and a Tuesday. So I say, no, having Tuesday, then I have to talk to my mum, Mike can help me on this day. On Wednesday, I've got a wife if he help me. So I have a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's cool. And then I went on like that for about 2 months. And then she said, no, he needs consistent.
Yeah.
I need consistency. And so you're going to have to system. And so I sorted stuff out of work. So I having... Depending on how late I have to start on a Wednesday, I'm Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Every week. That's amazing.
I can communicate with her and say, I got this one. Can I come and get him on a Friday dinner? We can have him Friday, Saturday instead, or whatever. But yeah, normally I'd say Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
Literally half the week.
Try to. Yeah.
That's it. Okay, cool. Going back to back then. So, in regards to finances and the home as a whole, how did it work back then? So obviously you bought all the things.
Yeah, so she's amazing at money, she's organized. She was everything I wasn't. Which is how kind of should be.
Yeah.
So I would work and then whatever was needed, we come together and make sure it was sorted out. At that time in my life, I had demons that I hadn't spoken about and I hadn't tried to deal with. So they got in the way of my finances a little bit. And once she was aware of it, she tried to help me, tried to assist me. The difference is I wasn't ready to deal with it. I was on this, the rock I'm covering everything up, man. And what I'm gonna train myself to be happy, present, amazing, but that rock's not getting, we're not catching the rock.
So were you not happy?
Yeah, but I wasn't happy with him.
So this was more about yourself as opposed to the situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wasn't happy with him, which then means it's impossible to then be happy and present in all these other things and other hats you've got to wear. So, yeah.
Okay. And now financially, I'm going to make the bold assumption that because you split your time, you don't do pay that much, or do you pay like a fixed sum?
I pay a fixed sum each month.
Yeah.
Without fail.
Yeah.
It was one of the things that my friend who I've called when I found out, said to me, Brevy, I don't make sure, even when you're together, you can make sure send her this much and make sure you send it, don't hand it over in cash. Oh, that's his legs.
No,
Amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't do it because in my mind, I want to get borrowed. As soon as it ended, that started.
Yeah,
straight away.
Immediately.
Straight away. And it was the communication was everything. Because if there was maybe I needed 2 extra days from that, where whatever it was, I would have to communicate. She set the figure, and because I knew I've been with her for a long time, so I know what she did, organized. I know where the money's gonna go. I did question it.
Amazing. Okay. I want to lead into her first child a little bit, right? Obviously, so when your son's coming on, you've managed to build a relationship with him, or you started to build a relationship with him, right? Are you able to take that relationship with him now?
No.
Okay.
No. Which was kind of hard to deal with, because being around her and her family was when I found out I had a love for coaching. I always played football, but I never thought I could be a great coach. So I started coaching young kids from 6 upwards. And so I realized that bond that you create with a child is just unique. No matter where you go, there's going to be moments in your life where something reminds you that child, that there's straws behind you there. I'm not seeing straw, I think. I remember that time that we were bending the shoulder, making, did you see it? So it's really hard. It was really hard in the beginning to deal with not being able to see him, to spend time with him. It was, I understand.
For those of us that don't see, what was the reasoning behind it?
Confusion. Too many voices. I forget to say it is too many chefs or
I'll find the full quote.
I don't know. I think you could argue against that from a parent and guardian point of view. The more the merrier, the more people that you have to support, the better. But I think only so many people can be a father figure like that.
Yeah.
So once she wanted it, and what we needed was a clear break.
Yeah.
See, this is it. The link between us is our child that we share together. Man, obviously, I didn't understand that at the time.
How were you able to navigate that? What would you say to them who's never something similar? Like, you know what? Because obviously you have a child together, you've broken up. I mean, quote unquote breaking up of a son. How were you able to navigate through that?
So you have to communicate. Ask the question because you have pressure.
Yeah.
And there were some questions I had been asked.
Okay.
And they would sit with me. Ask the question. If you ask, so a situation I asked, I'm gonna come from my son on Saturday, I want to take them out. Can I take him out?
Yeah.
No. Ask why.
Oh, you didn't ask why, you just accepted it.
I accepted it. I just accepted it kind of thing. Cool. That's what we want to do. That's cool. But ask the questions, ask why. And I think there was about 3 or 4 occasions over a 4-month period where I asked for him or asked to do something with him. And after, I just said, I understand. I know what it is. It's fine. And I'd see him sometimes from dropping off or picking up. I couldn't see him and have a conversation, but something to understand.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Do you mind me asking why you guys broke up? Because from what you described to me thus far, and you guys seem like a good, strong unit. So what happened?
So I told you before we started, I called her to tell her I was coming in and figuring our father would to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And before we cut the phone, I said, the one question I'm going to ask you, because I'm probably going to talk it right.
Yeah.
Would you agree with me in saying that you stayed together in London and we should have?
Oh, wow.
100%.
Wow.
100%. We did.
Okay.
He did. And the sole reason that we did was my son. The son that we shared together is the reason that I believe we stayed together longer than we should.
So you reckon you should have broken up earlier? Why is that?
We weren't happy.
Okay.
We weren't happy. I think I would have said I wasn't what she was looking for. But I also think because I did it on myself, she couldn't have been how I was looking before.
And yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Couldn't have been how I was looking before. But she's the mother of my child. It was that happy kind of family home is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what it looked like if I'm not there. And if I'm not with it, you heard. What does being a dad look like? What is it? Who is then going to be the constant presence in his life if it's not me? I had all of these sort of doubts that just meant, where is that?
Yeah.
I'd say it. And I was raised in the church, but I wasn't a practicing Christian, and that's what she wanted.
Okay.
And marriage was at the top of my list.
What you wanted. Okay.
But ultimately, I just wasn't the right person for it. And it reached a point where I'd shown her enough signs to say, look what happened. So, called it quits.
Okay, cool.
She called it quits. I accepted it. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just me and her. I was breaking up with my mom, breaking up with my dad, breaking up with my brothers, her grandma.
Oh.
Her grandma was the only grandma I've known.
Yeah.
That we had her auntie put me in for a coaching course.
Oh, wow.
So it was like there were ties everywhere. It was heavily linked. So the grieving period is intense for me. It was a nightmare. That was hard. And that it was in that moment where I started to reach out. There's a big thing. I understood all these relationships are breaking down. The one relationship that has to stay strong and constant to me and my son. What does this look like? I need someone out there who's gone through this to talk me through this, the steps to take, things I need to put in place on how to get the best out of what looked like a poor situation. And I was researching that really.
So talk us through, how did you navigate that? How did you, because obviously actually you're grieving, right? Mm-hmm. And that could be very easy seep into a relationship with your son. How were you able to, if you were able to separate from?
At first I wasn't. I remember the week of the breakup, I said, well, let's say if it was a Monday, we broke up. On the Thursday, I said, I'm coming, I'm gonna get in there as they came back to line. I'll have him after till Saturday, going and popping him back. And I came and got in. And I remember looking at him, and all I could see was her.
Wow.
And that was magic. Like, looking at my son and just seeing, come on, just nuts. And then, so when I did hand over again, it puts him back to earth. I said, I think I need some time. And that just to process this ain't, And I think she said, all right, cool, let me know, but let's say 2 weeks. By the end of week 1, I thought we had a conversation and she was like, I don't need the time, but he needs you for. And it's now showcasing that it needs you. So you kind of have to have your time up a little bit. And again, this is me putting feelings on. I wasn't talking to myself for half of them. But on the rock, then just continued on with doing just their families, someone I'm looking for. The agreement that we had in place at the time, but when I would have it, we'd continue on like that.
So you just powered through it. Have you addressed those feelings at any point in time?
Yeah. So I'm going to counsel it.
Amazing. I'm a big supporter of counseling.
Very quickly, I went to camp.
Really?
Because she moved on quickly. So within about 6 to 8 weeks, she came and told me she was engaged. 6 weeks after the breakup. And I said,
let me pause you right there. Okay, so she's messaged you, of course, said that she's engaged.
Yeah.
How did you feel in that moment? If you're able to vocalize, but how did you feel?
Let's rewind.
Yeah, that's the first.
The week after the breakup, or 2 weeks after the breakup, she asked to meet up to clear the air. There are some things she found out. She wanted to questioning.
Am I agreed?
Yeah, she wanted to talk about you. That I called, met in a meet from there, sat down, spoke, and I wasn't a good partner. I know that. I knew that at the time, and I know that now. I wasn't what I was what I put my energy into was being a father. I didn't put my energy into perfecting or making a perfect relationship between me and her. I wasn't yet. But I didn't care. I just thought that a man did other things. That's just how I viewed it at that point in time. This is just what men do. So the third thing that comes to that, I wanted to address, spoke about it, and then she said, do you have any question? I was like, no, do you have anything to do on its own? And that was my running line. Anything to talk around? She said, so I asked her out, and she was going to go, I thought. Because again, that was me suppressing what I was reading. Because inside, I'm like, how can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was scared of it.
Yeah.
Cool. So then it was like maybe 6 weeks after that. Fifth. Yes. All right, cool. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
That's what it.
At the same point, you still not communicate your. Do you know it's because? Really? Let me tell you this from my perspective, right? I feel like as a man, we go for a wider evolution, right? Yeah. And sometimes we don't know how to address it, we don't know how to bring forth these emotions to the surface if we tell the person how we're actually feeling, right? But what you're saying, I can imagine confusion, anger, jealousy, maybe even like. Do you know what I mean?
There was all of those, everything. I just. When I went to work, right this point, I'd moved on to blood fatigue.
Okay.
I went to work. I said to them, look, I'm not fit to be on that train.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, I cannot do this job. You want me to go into detail? I can go into some detail and just trust me when I say mentally, I'm not yet. Cool. Alright.
Okay.
Take your time.
Let's go back to Compton now.
So once that happened, late in the night, I'm trying to sleep. What I'm seeing is, there's something gonna happen to you, Dad. Well, what are you gonna do about it? The son's gonna be calling something off, Dad. What are you gonna do about it? And around this time, when I had my son, he wouldn't say Dad or Dad. Like, he wouldn't, and it wasn't like he was avoiding saying it. It's just that I was there.
Okay, I get it.
So you didn't have to say that, but all I'm hearing is, you're not saying that, bro. What's happening? Like,
your wife's playing tricks on you guys. Yeah.
So what, you saying that somewhere else? Or what's going on? Like, that's what was really going on inside of me. There was all kinds of twisted stuff. I knew. So there were other things going on at home to my own dad at this point in time. And so I met someone randomly, I was going something like, and I met someone crazy, and somebody just started talking to me about what she was going through. I was like, well, that's man, I'm going through this as well. And she said, can you move to see something now? Because she put me in contact with our counselor and started that, emailed the counselor the next day, had a consultation within the week and start sessions. But I started session, I needed it. And was I ever against counseling? I wouldn't say I was against counseling. I just thought that men might talk.
Like I said earlier, just deal with it. Yeah.
Moved it. So it wasn't as I was saying don't do counseling.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not speaking, I'm thinking of that. It sounded soft to me, like to speak about your emotions and whatnot, but I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. I was living for that moment with my son. That's it. Those days with my child every week, that was it. The rest of the time, catch me.
Yeah. Did your friends notice?
Yeah, they dragged him to the gym. They were, even in the gym Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
They made sure I wasn't annulling the law. And
amazing.
Mom was aware, obviously the system, everyone was aware what was going on. But my family don't speak.
Yeah.
So it was then very weird to me. If you want to speak to me, I'm now 27, 28, you may chat to me.
Yeah.
There were years when we could have been talking about stuff and no one was speaking.
Yeah.
I can't speak to you about it. So,
Counselor, obviously you communicate a lot about your medical, right? What was your biggest take with counselor in regards to the situation?
The mind can be trickier. The mind can be is a tricky place. It's a maze that is unlike any maze that you've tried to work through in any maze book or puzzle book that you've seen, then mine can do certain things to leave. Because the whole time, my biggest concern with my relationship with my child and what are you doing? I'm saying over there, man, that's gonna take away from my relationship with my child. But I have my child feet.
Yeah.
I know my relationship with my son. Things sort of.
Yeah.
So what are there any thoughts? So you can.
Yeah. What's so interesting is like I read this quote in a book, right? The mind is a great servant, but terrible master. If you let it control you, it can run you into the ground. Okay, cool. So fast forward now, you mentioned that you and your son are good now.
Yeah.
You build a relationship, right? Have you ever spoken to about that time, that period of time?
No. But there's reasons I think that I haven't spoken to him about this.
Yeah.
In a relationship, I am a peacekeeper. I want to keep the peace, maybe at all costs. Yeah. Confrontation. Let's say I start a conversation that becomes confrontational. I'm stepping back and I'm full side. So good. I varied. That was my way of dealing with it. And then whatever I felt, even if I thought this was right, I wouldn't go. So there were certain things, certain conversations that happened during the breakup that I thought like, if we went back to revisit it, it might bring up some feelings that I've not dealt with necessarily. I've had conversations with counselors about it, but I haven't necessarily fully dealt with some of these feelings. And I don't want to look at you different. I want to treat you different. So some of it, let's say, one of the conversations we had that I'm now understanding a bit more, after she got married, or just before she got married, there was a conversation about changing my son's last name.
To who's?
To her new last.
Okay.
Or to me it sounded like changing it, but what it was hyphenating it and adding the new last name onto it. At that point in time, you might have lit me up in the fire.
So at this point in time, we're in a conversation. Whose last name did he have?
Just yours.
Always. No, it don't.
Yeah, I was there from get-go.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I don't actually necessarily understand, I've done research to understand where this comes from. In terms of, I now know that I believe in Spanish culture that when a man marries, the wife's name is added to you.
I'm not Spanish, so I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know where this culture who gets whose name or why someone's name, but I just know from my son had my last name.
Okay.
And so when that happened, I thought, wait.
Yeah.
Took out that stuff from. I was all over the place. So we talked about how.
Yeah.
In my mind, what I was hearing was, you're now going to be a split that with my household. For that time,
What was her reason for me asking?
We haven't spoken about it, but what I believed it was now is because her first son, had a hand last. Yeah. And there was a conversation with me and her together about if we were to get married. They intend to my last.
Okay.
And it's about family. That's what I
believe it to be. No.
That's what I believe it to be about. I don't want it to be Christmas, we send out a card that whatever the last name is, but he's not that last name. Yeah. And he knows what his last name is because it's read out in school every day.
Yeah.
I want it to feel part of my family unit as well as your family unit. I get that now. If that's what she said. I haven't gone down that road with her, but if that's what she said, now I'm in a better place to understand that. But then you can tell me that.
Okay, and let me ask you now, as a man, how do you feel about that? You told me you get it, you told me you understand it, but how do you feel about it? Yeah?
So happy. So how do I feel about it? Yeah. I felt disrespected. I feel disrespected. Then I felt like what I heard was, you're not enough.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. And if there's one way to quickly get me out of my character, is if you start talking about my parents as if I'm not enough. Because it's the one thing I'm fully committed to. So you can't, I fallen out with uncles over it if you try to chat to me about parenting my child. So that's how I felt. So conversations like that, it made me feel some type of way. It really did. It really did. It's hard to navigate our relationship around this time. Listen, it's all within the first year of us breaking up.
You went through it.
It's mad. It's mad.
Yes. So, okay, when you were having this conversation, was it like a civil conversation? Was it like, did your emotions get hold of it?
Always text message, it was always where I message, and it's like I had verbal diarrhea. Sexy, pity minds, I wasn't meant to eat it and whatnot. But I looked at it, I sent this to me too. Okay, I think cool, and then look at that instead, because I always want to come across as if I'm taking into account how you feel. That's how I always wanted to come across. So I wouldn't fully express what I was. I told her there was no chance that I was happy, but that was as far as it went. Yeah.
And when you said that, what did she say in response?
Her words were, all right, that's cool, but I'm just letting you know, in my household, he's going to be referred to arrested. And I said, so how are you going to call him by something he's not? And that's kind of where we left it. So these are conversations, which is why I was harboring certain feelings into the effort. They're out to get me. You know, the quickest way to get me out is to come after me and mine.
Yeah, in fact.
And yeah, that was madness. I'd really thought about it, but what I found early last year was that all these messages I'd screenshotted, and I still had them in my phone, because I was on a self-sabotage attached to it. I looked at a lot of what was going on as we're just not good enough. These are reasons why we're not legit. And so that's kind of where I was going down a bit. So I know very early on, there was moments I'm looking back at these screenshot of text machines. Sabotage, that's mad.
Yeah.
That he's working for that. So, yeah. Pretty party, misery loves company, and it felt like almost felt like I wanted it to be sad. I wanted to be depressed about this stuff. So let me look back on it to be depressed about it, and how we really ever addressed it. And that's not the worried about it. Their response is what Quays' response you're gonna be gently. This is not happening.
So you're saying it's not gonna happen. She's saying this was gonna happen in my household. So I guess at this point, it's more like a let's see what happens.
Yeah, it was kind of like whatever's gonna happen kind of thing. And I think for a couple of months, when my son is with me, I've always made sure that nice and what I was after was I wanted confirmation from him that I'm your dad. That's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted. I just wanted to know that my rolling in life is safe. You're not going to try to replace me with someone else. All I've been is your dad. I don't even remember what I did before that. So I just wanted him to acknowledge that. But this is a 5-year-old, 6-year-old.
Well, I was just going to, my next question I was prepping in my mind was like, I was just going to say to you that, okay, cool. You seem like a very self-aware person, like kids counselor, because you really you recognize the need of it, right? Talking man to man, do you feel like it's his responsibility to make you feel like, yeah.
It's a key job. How can I put that responsibility in me? And this is part of what traps in helping.
Yeah.
They helped me to understand what my mind was doing. I had 2 counselors. So the first one was a female, and she was amazing. But what I quickly realized is this is easy for me.
What they're talking on?
Yeah, because you're a female.
Okay.
I like this. They checked into things.
Yeah.
But what I needed in my life from young is a male role of it. Someone who I can talk to. But I had that wasn't alone one. He is, and he was in his own way. But he wasn't someone that I'd say, this happened, or what do I read? And then I had to drag. it wasn't that kind of situation. So I needed a black man who I could speak to on a level who was also going to reason with me. Obviously, counselors, therapists, they're not going to tell you what to do, but they have a way of unlocking what you've just said and rewording it. And you're like, oh, what? Okay. That's interesting. And that's a lot of what our conversations are about. A lot of our conversations are about. I knew that you just said, so what you're basically saying is not this. That really what you want? What are you scared of? Does he tell that about? So before the time, that's not just all the time.
Yeah.
I say all the time.
Yeah.
So naturally, he says, "No, kill me." What won't you run?
Yeah.
What are you looking for? That's what a lot of that person was that thing, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I'm a big supporter of counseling and therapy. I have a therapist. She's a black woman. I was very intense. I was a black woman. And the reason why I say I support counseling and therapy is because it equips you with tools to make sure that you are able to react and respond and to also think, right? Because like I said, if you let your mind roam and just do its own thing, it will create the worst case scenario for you. And I can really imagine your mind's kind of like, they're playing happy family. Look, so you're navigating a breakup. No, you navigate the break. You're not also navigating your son playing happy families with another man, right? And if you just man them on the beach and the two sons and they're all doing all this stuff, and it's crippling. It's crippling.
Like, was spinning.
Yeah.
Spinning. Things that... What I understand now is that my son's got an amazing life. Because he comes to me where he's the only child, he's got that full attention. He knows another interviews, and then he goes to his mum, where he's one of 3 kids now, but he's got his mum and his stepdad, who also love him.
Yeah.
What amazing one. And you got grandparents that love you, uncles, aunts that love you. You got an abundance of people that love him. We say it takes a village to raise a child, but I was like, a village is
Yeah.
I'm the man in that village. There can be no other man in that village because I help trade.
A lot of things that we've learned growing up, we've been internalized, they will come to fruition over the course of our lives. We need to address them because, like you mentioned, you feel like as a man, I have to be the man. But like you just rightfully pointed out, your son has so much love in his life now. And in theory, if you got your own way back then, while you're doing what you're dealing with, you would have blown all that up. Yeah. So now, you know what? I'm so happy that you've come. I'm glad we've got to talk about this. But this is such a very different side to every father that we have explored this year as well.
But I needed guidance through us here, and young black men, young men need guidance through this. When we go through certain things, because if it wasn't me, maybe someone's reaction is going to be different. Maybe we go for war. And that's not what we want. So platforms like this are needed. People need to listen. They need to hear people speak about what they've been through and where you're at today.
And that's practically
where you're at today, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, the thing is, like everyone's experience is different, right? And we all have different trees, different things that make us go off. But I think, like you rightfully mentioned, if you hear someone talking about what you've been through, you can be like, you know what, if I take this course of action, this is what could potentially happen. And let me just do something different. Like, I rate you so highly right now. I can't even tell you how much I rate you right now, because I know a lot of men that would just willingly blow it up because they felt slighted. Once your ego is bruised, bro, like, ego is the enemy. So that's what I tell anyone. Once your ego is bruised, what you choose to do moving forward is anyone's guess. It's anyone's guess. Or sorry, it's very hard.
But I think this is also part of why I was able to say that you say no than we should have. Yes, it was a heartbreak and that people there, but it was equally also heartbreaking to not be around heart.
Yeah.
The whole month.
Where?
To not be around her dad, to not be around her brothers. It was heartbreaking for me. The whole process was heartbreaking for me, but it wasn't so not happy with you on my days or whatever.
Yeah. Are you not able to call them?
Yeah, but my thing is, there's a boundary. There's a boundary.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, for me, there has to be.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put it. If the roles were reversed, I would want there to be some boundaries put in place, because I felt coming to my mother's and see you sitting down and having dinner and
All I said was, can you call them?
yeah. What,
Yeah.
we speak,
Yeah.
but it's more like,
It's not as.
if I see you, it's love. We know it's love.
Yeah.
It's always going to be that. It can never be anything other than that.
Yeah.
You know, and I was around for a really long time, so it's always going to be that. Though. Doesn't need to be new though. For me,
Yeah. What does a blended family look like to you?
a blended family looks like transparency. It looks like transparency. It looks like being able to call no places home.
Oh, you're spitting today, boy. Yeah.
Because and I'll hear my son talk to some of his brethren sometimes that, yeah, I've got 2 homes.
Really?
I've got 3 homes. So that's, you know, I've got, and initially I had issues with him saying stepdad.
Really?
I was like, oh, try to and
Why was that?
because I'm your dad. There's no particularly step whatever. Stepdad.
Yeah.
That's but it was mean that I was on some protecting. This is my world, and you are my world. You can't. There's no one else that's coming into that. I'm not at all. So because that's being used to it.
And mentally, where are you at right now?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm genuinely happy.
I love to hear that.
I'm genuinely happy. I'm happy with how the situation has worked out. Because so when we broke up, his 5th birthday came pretty quickly, and it was locked out. So it was madness. I celebrated with him, and then I'm sure he did something over there. His 6th birthday was last year. No, his birthday was two years ago. That was, again, me and my brethren and our kids did that with him, and then we went. And I remember because I was dropping him back, and he said, "Daddy, come to my party." I'm like, bro, I didn't bring. We had a party together. What's going on? I said, "No, I'm working." And I made sure if I had ordered a cake for him, and it's only that me and my sister and my family brothers and work. So let's cut the cake in half and made sure we went back. He took the other half of the cake there. And he had his partner there. And if you had told me then that on his 7th birthday, he was going to do it together, I would have thought you mad.
Really?
His 7th birthday last year, everyone was there.
Amazing.
Everyone was there. It's good.
Did you ever address why you went invited for the 6th birthday?
No, because even if they had invited me, I don't know if I would have gone.
Really? Oh, you're still going? You're still hired? Yeah.
This was that. There was a singing event, so the event actually was engaged with that group.
Yeah.
Then she got married.
Yeah.
Then she had a baby with her. So
Life was from jobs on you
like,
from.
all right. If I have to be there, I celebrated with my son. It was amazing. We had a great time. He remembers it to this day. I'm good with not being there. I'm good with not being there, but not sure it was amazing as well. He loved it. We with no hiccups, no issues, no nothing.
And with regards to like dating women, future family, how are you feeling about that towards that?
It's hard to navigate it. I think I'm remembering when I was dating her before she's pregnant. I'm not just say, yo, Matt, it not be Tuesday. I say, Thursday, we're going to go here. And I didn't take into account, I said, a child, for she might need to sing you something to be able to do that. Now, which that for me, my life is pretty much set. My days are planned for me already, so I can just get up and say, look, I want to do this. So I figured. Then you got to take into account. For me, it's going to be really important that my son lacks both of you. But then you have to navigate, when is it too soon to having weeks of, when you're dragging it? Is there a prime time? And how would you do the introduction? And it was, so he's been introduced to one person that was with.
Oh, you dated after? Okay.
I've dated after. And I would say I think maybe a bit too early.
How early are we talking?
A couple months.
How was that experience for you? Like, you saw who you were dating and then your son together. How was that for you?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my son's like, it's funny. So after he gets over the nervous, awkward period, you guys just need abandoned women and enjoy them and whatnot. So that was nice.
So how did you prep? What did you say? You said, this is my girlfriend, this is someone. What did you say to him to?
I said, this is my friend. There we go, friend. Because he knew.
Yeah.
Because he'd heard me on the phone and
Okay.
so he, at the present time, he knew. And these kids these days, they're
cleared up. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was alright. It wasn't as the mind again make the worst case scenario. That inside, yeah, that was alright.
Okay. And you said you reckon it was too soon.
In terms of, I didn't know, and you can never truly fully know someone. Then I didn't know enough.
Okay, I guess what would you do differently next time? I mean, if you're dating someone, you want to bring her into the fold, what would you change?
Cool. I mentioned at the time that we've been her spending together is meaning asking the right question. I read something somewhere, or I've watched something where someone was saying that navigate the situation or make situations so that you can understand what someone will do in a certain situation. Or manipulate a situation so you can understand what someone would do in a certain situation. For me, it would just be understanding what they want out of life, whether they want a family, what they think about blended families, how they deal with a model from someone that you deal with being in your life, all of those things. And this happened over a period of time. There's no conversation that one night. Okay, cool. What do you think that's out now?
Yeah,
it's got to be.
So a fair amount of time, yeah. Well, Michael, as it starts to wrap up, I want you to. You've been for a lot. Let me not hide it. Let me not even fight to doubt. But you've been for a lot, right? So, if you could go back in time, you guys are still together, are you right? And you said you reckon you were together for too long, or longer than you needed to be, right? If you go back in time to speak to yourself, what would you say? Communicate. Everything.
Be transparent about the demons, about what you feel about this situation, and about marriage, about kids, and what you like for 5 years, 10 years, and what you want out of life. All of these things. Communicate honestly about it, because by me running along with, yeah, bro, it's cool, yeah. I'm like, seeing in you, the thought that we're gonna get married, and I'm okay with that when I wasn't.
Yeah.
So in a way, that's manipulation.
Yeah.
I'm keeping you around, knowing that maybe I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
It's got communication is the hardest and the best strings of the relationship, in my opinion.
I agree.
That would be it. Just communicate with myself and with her. Self-reflection. At one time, I write helps. Read over my notes. Read what I'm saying to myself for a month.
And yet,
Like, all of that.
and is there anything you'd change? If you could.
Someone's meant to be, that's like the best thing ever for the, and that's love. That's the definition of love right now for me. That's for my son. So he was coming, he was meant to be here. And I feel that if I changed, maybe in communicating better, so everything can change anyway. But I wouldn't say I wanted to change this or much down the road.
Life has been great. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I think coming on, it's never easy talking about these things, and I feel like as a man, it's never easy actually admitting to hurting, open to going through it. So I really respect you, man. I appreciate it, and I hope. And one thing I will say to you though is, what I'm trying to build here is, I need everyone that comes on to be open to conversations with other people, because it's all my words. I want to talk to you, so it's a cool thing.
Of course, I'm old. Maybe I still be. I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm open. I'd say yeah. I'm open to it. I only have been.
Yeah. How we can they find that?
So it'll be on Instagram. It'll be mix of MICD Bennett VNNET.
Amazing. Thank you so much, man. And that's it. That's a wrap.
Yeah, thank you.